Hello there and welcome to Iron Port. The program is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, the Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle Company Limited, Serene Insurance, GCNet and West Blue. Media partners, the Business and Financial Times. People, this week, quite a number of things have raged within the port industry. The first is a very peaceful demonstration that was embarked upon by the Maritime and Dock Workers Union, as well as the unionized groups of the Ports and Harbours Authority. They are demanding that immediate attention be paid to a certain aspect of the terms of the contract between Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. They believe those aspects are not fair. Work at the Tema Port came to a temporary halt from Monday, 15th June 2020, when workers belonging to the Maritime and Dock Workers Union, MDU, and local union of GPHA blocked access to the Tema Port as part of a serialized protest over what they said were attempts by the Ghana Revenue Authority to continue to allow Meridian Port Services, MPS, to retain refrigerated imports at the new Terminal 3, operated by MPS. The large number of workers drawn from all areas of the Maritime and Dock Workers Fold had taken over the main transport yard at the entrance of the Tema Port. They questioned why a communique from the presidency to the Workers' Union indicated that the execution of the MPS concession was to be temporarily suspended until issues relating to job losses were addressed. Yet, the Ghana Revenue Authority had taken such a measure they believe would make an 800 plugging capacity reefer terminal built by GPHA as well as its workers remain redundant. The MDU also explained that it has resolved to ensure that government pushes for the implementation of the 20% allocation of containers to be handled by GPHA becomes fully operational, since the workers have become apprehensive about the situation. The workers called on the president and the government to, as a matter of urgency, instruct the Ghana Revenue Authority to suspend such arrangement with MPS. The protest, which was peaceful, saw workers clad in red and making their demands through chants and songs. The leadership of the Junior and Senior Staff Union of GPHA demanded from the government to include the workers' leadership in all their negotiations with MPS. The protest continued on Tuesday, June 16 and Wednesday, 17th, when the leadership of the Maritime and Dock Workers Union, MDU, and the local unions of GPHA prevented the Marine Operations Unit from piloting and towing some 6 vessels in anchorage into the port. The MDU maintained that their action was in retaliation against MPS for not allowing vessels with lower draft of 11.5 meters and below into terminals 1 and 2, which have been designated to handle 20% of vessels that call at the Tema Port, referring a situation where COSCO container vessel with a draft of 10.5 meters was detained by the Port Authority after the local representatives of the vessel had insisted to berth at MPS Terminal 3. So after raising their concerns, the Minister of Transport gave the workers a listening ear, and then he gave them some assurances. Listen to him.
GPHA is handling 20%, and so far as government is concerned, that is the position of government. Government position hasn't changed so far as our discussion with MPS is concerned. And so far as we are concerned, we have an understanding of GPHA handling 20%. That is why government still stands by it. Government position has not changed. Nothing. Government position has not changed. I am told that my information is that the last time they went to board meeting, this matter came. They discussed it only last 3 days, last week, and they said that they should finish all the documentation. So the far government is concerned, the issue of 20% hasn't changed, and it continues to be 20%.
He went further to document his assurances. Following the meeting between the ministry, board, management and the union of GPHA, as well as the leadership of the Maritime Dock Workers Union held on Tuesday, 16th June 2020, the issues raised by the union were presented at the cabinet meeting held the same day. The underlisted were decisions taken by cabinet, 1. That the Cabinet Secretary write to inform the Ghana Revenue Authority to hand over all refrigerated containers to the GPHA before the end of the month. 2. That the government position for GPHA to handle 20% of the containerized cargo during the exclusivity period of 10 years has not changed. 3. That the GPHA should go ahead with the leasing of the marine harbor cranes to enable them to effectively handle the containers. I write therefore to inform you of the decision of Cabinet on this matter in reference to the Maritime Dock Workers Union letter. The number is stated. Signed, the Honorable Minister of Transport, Kweku Ofori-Esiama. So after the minister's documented assurance, it was reinforced also by the presidency, and another letter came from the secretary to the president. The president has taken note of the contents of the letter and has directed that the Ghana Revenue Authority revises its directive to exempt refrigerated or reefer cargo containers and permit their transfer from Terminal 3 to the reefer yard of GPHA, where duties and taxes will be paid before delivery to consignees. Please treat this as urgent. Signed, Nana Bidietuo Asante, Secretary to the President. So after all those assurances, we asked the leadership of the Workers' Union, in particular the General Secretary of the Maritime and Dock Workers' Union, Mr. Daniel Owusu-Kranting, whether indeed the workers are satisfied with the interventions that have come from government regarding their demands. However, they said that there is a lot more that needs to be done, even though they are fully satisfied with some aspects of what government has intervened with.
We are very happy and we appreciate what the government has done in ensuring that as quickly as possible, the government has written or authorized the GRA to write a letter to reverse this situation. The major issue lies with MPS coming to the table with GPHA as soon as possible to develop agreements that will implement the 20% container business that should be handled by GPHA within the shortest possible time. And we give a timeline.
Okay.
We give up to 25th of June.
Also in this week, the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority held a press conference to address issues that have been raised surrounding the newly integrated customs management systems that's being used around the port for port clearance. Reverend Emishadai Owusu-Amwa, the Commissioner General Ghana Revenue Authority, has at a press briefing stated that Ghana is not losing any revenue at the country's entry points following the full implementation of the Integrated Customs Management System, ICUMS, deployed on June 1, 2020, as the system is gradually yielding its desired results. The Commissioner General revealed that between June 1 and 17, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority was able to collect 490 million Ghana cedis in revenue. This, he said, compares favorably with the average monthly revenue collections of about 942 million cedis from January to May this year from the country's entry point when the old system deployed by GCNet was in use. While admitting that there were teething challenges with the system, the Commissioner General said most of the initial problems were being fixed to allow the seamless operations of the system.
From the 1st to the 17th of June, a total of 490 million Ghana cedis revenue has been collected. And this compared favorably to what I mentioned earlier on, that our average collection per month is around 900 million. So if you look at the 490 million collected as at the 17th of June, and you do an extrapolation to the end of the month, and then you expect that come the end of the month, we will not collect anything below 900 million.
He said since the implementation of the system, more than 53,000 customs bill of entries had been processed nationwide, of which Tema Port alone submitted 16,000 entries, adding that over 12,000 were related to pre-manifest processes.
ICUMS has not been spared of its portion of teething challenges. But we have not rested on our oars, neither have we also closed our ears to the concerns. And we have done all that we think is possible and all that, and we continue to do to ensure that this system stabilizes and that our ports continue to be efficient.
The Commissioner General disclosed that out of the total TEMA BOEs, about 11,000 have been successfully processed, while the remaining 5,000 of the BOEs are at various stages of processing at Customs Technical Services Bureau, CTSB.
Even before we moved from the old system, we were doing about 1,500 bill of entries per day. And I wish to announce to the press also that as of today, in ICAMS, we are also doing 1,500 bill of loading entries per day in ICAMS. And therefore, we are actually already comparing favorably to what was happening in the previous system.
He said about 4,000, forming 25% of the total BOE submissions, delayed for reasons such as unanswered queries by declarants for the necessary supporting documents, manifest mismatch, and to effect corrections.
Now, I wish to say that out of this 16,000, 11,000 of it have been successfully processed in ICAMS. About 5,000 of the BOEs are at various stages of processing at the Customs Technical Services Bureau. One of the things that we have had as a challenges is the issue about queries that are raised.
The GRA board said the revenue outcomes could have been relatively higher if the 25% of queries have been answered and the goods cleared. On demurrage charges, the Commissioner General said the GRA and the Ministry of Trade were engaging relevant stakeholders to see what can be done for cases related to initial challenges of the ICAMS implementation.
And you know, when we started this and we're doing training, sometimes people don't take the training as seriously as required. And therefore, as we continue with the process, we continue to do further training for those who did not grasp it very well, and to ensure that all stakeholders, including freight forwarders, including shipping agents, including terminal operators, are adequately trained.
Reverend Owusu-Amoah expressed confidence in the ICAMS and assured that the Ghana Revenue Authority would ensure that all challenges regarding the initial implementation of the system will be dealt with as they arise. So that was the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority asserting that the state is now losing any revenue as a result of the implementation of the integrated customs management system that was introduced just on the 1st of June. However, the users of the facility still maintain that, yes, they admit that a lot of improvement have taken place ever since the implementation. That's from 1st June coming. However, there's a lot more that needs to be done to improve the system.
To us, there has been some significant progress in terms of the initial problem that we had. And as of now, they have made some strides, but then we still believe that we are not yet there yet. As compared to what our standards are and what we also want to achieve from Mother Ghana, we still think that we are not there yet at all.
Iron Pod returns shortly.
Tai fa semna ene nsu a etene hohoro nsa na mposo wo baabi a unya nsuo ne semna fa sanitizer akoho wom fa gu nsem ne fa pepa nsa ho nyina se wo yare a snefie
na obebisa ho se edien na obeye ambra ususu se oni obi a wanya sa yare ni bi enye nhyiamu ana se wa ben obi a owo sa yare ni bi de se wo ye ni se obeto ohun punu mu na wa fre number eda screen no so
shika wo fe ekomiye obanya wosa neke helane na ejake mo fia mo ehia nya wo fia ekomi koni watching COVID-19 na nike oba sumo ake oba wabo ye neke bianie obanya ni otwa telephone number ni ona bianie.
Here's innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead. Expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Gold Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goil. Good energy.
Electricity. Then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes. Our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, streetlights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Oh, how are you?
Hi Yvonne, a few words please. Everyone is talking about the fire at your production house last week. How are you holding up? Has production stalled?
No, not at all. My crew and everyone on my set is perfectly fine because I insure with Serene Insurance. As a matter of fact, I've had all my equipment replaced, including the vehicles that were affected. My workers have been sorted out. Even my production downtime has been covered. So it's all good. I have a meeting to attend to, so I have to get going. Sorry about that.
Which insurance company did you mention?
Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance, a member of First Sky Group.
Welcome back to Iron Port. Now, time to bring you other news that are happening around the port industry, and that includes the signing of the feasibility contract between the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and consultants from Germany. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has commissioned an association of consultants led by Monsieur Sellon Engineering from Hamburg, Germany. The other consultants are Protel Services, PSP Architecture Engineering, and a Ghanaian team from Yoga Rib Engineering Services Limited. The parties, GPHA and Sellon Engineering, executed the consulting services contract on Wednesday, 9th June 2020, which marks a major milestone towards the realization of the development of the new port of KETA. The signing ceremony was conducted through Microsoft Teams video conferencing at the headquarters of GPHA, between GPHA team in Tema and the consultants team in various parts of Germany. At the virtual signing ceremony, the Director General of GPHA, Michael Luguje, acknowledged the limitations imposed on all parties in the face of the global pandemic.
And we expect that immediately after this signing, our colleagues in Hamburg will quickly mobilize to be able to start work as soon as possible.
He, however, admonished the team to take all necessary steps to employ their best professional abilities to deliver the terms of the contract, since the port of KETA is an important development agenda for the government and people of Ghana.
Unfortunately, because of coronavirus, we had to do this remotely. For management and the board, we consider this KETA project as top priority. Indeed, we should have concluded this process much earlier than today. But because of the coronavirus issues that have taken time, but thank God we are doing this signing today.
The director of the Port of KETA, Dr. Alexander Yao Edusei Jr., thanked the Director General and management of GPHA for the hard work invested in the project and to succeed in appointing a consultant through a professionally well-conducted and transparent process to commence the most critical part of the development of Port of KETA.
And you agree with me that the extent of euphoria around this KETA Port project being pushed forward is great. I mean, I'm very glad that Volta region is going to also have its equal important development. And hopefully, with the support of the Director General and all the management in GPHA, today is a great day for us that we are signing at least a feasibility agreement.
The director of the Port of KETA also expressed the hope that the Volta region will soon have a modern port and maritime logistics hub for Ghana and a strategic cargo route through the Volta region and the Eastern Corridor for Ghana's northern neighbors. GPHA has also issued a letter of notice to commence to the consultant to begin the services officially on the 23rd of June 2020 in accordance with the conditions of the contract. The appointed consultant is expected to expedite work to deliver a full feasibility study and master plan, including development and investment strategy for the port of KETA. The first feasibility indicators are expected within 7 months. Globally, port infrastructure development is usually a very involving and time-consuming activity, which doesn't just spring up, but accompanied by careful decisions backed by empirical facts and detailed port and public infrastructure planning considerations. Often, it takes years of several considerations before an ultimate construction of physical structures commence. It is worth noting that other relatively major port infrastructure have had their project preparatory stages spanning over decades. The Jamestown Fishing Harbour and the Fish London sites had their project preparations as far back as 2008. The Takoradi expansion project started in 2011 and physical works effectively commenced in 2014. The procurement of feasibility studies and master planning of Tema Port Expansion project preparations began earlier than 2012, and yet physical works commenced in December 2016. Indeed, for an entirely fresh port and port city infrastructure like the nature that is going to be built at KETA, the commitment and time invested and achieved so far is very impressive, with a hope that all other stages or preparatory works will be given such equal devotion to see to the realization of the port of KETA. The emergence of COVID-19 already delayed the final signing of the contract, which should have taken place in the first quarter of the year 2020, as there have been impediments like travel restrictions. Fortunately, efficient measures have been put in place to address such hurdles going forward. Okay, coming up next is international ports and maritime news. Chinese e-commerce and technology group Alibaba has signed up to the International Port Community Systems Association (IPCSA) Blockchain Bill of Lading initiative and embarked on a new blockchain project in the organization's Joint Logistics Visibility Task Force. The joint work is aiming at standardization and proof of concept of blockchain application in logistics and e-commerce. The IPCSA Blockchain Bill of Lading initiative is being led by an IPCSA member, Israel Ports Company, which operates the Israeli Ports Community System, IPCS. Vietnamese Coast Guard detained suspiciously looking tanker in Vang Tau Province waters on June 18, 2020. Under the name BV-789, which came to be false, tanker was identified as Hakuyo Maru, under command of Thai captain. There were 13 crew, including 7 Thais and 6 Cambodians. The tanker was found to have on board some 200 tons of undocumented diesel oil. The tanker was arrested and taken to Vang Tau anchorage for further investigation, being suspect in illegal oil trade in Vietnamese exclusive economic zone. Most probably, the arrested tanker is a bunker tanker, Hakuyo Maru, which was last seen by AIS in Gulf of Thailand in nearly 2019. According to Hapag-Lloyd, all crew members on board Hapag-Lloyd's chartered container ship MV Montpellier have fully recovered and tested negative for the COVID-19 virus. For reference, the box ship deployed by Hapag-Lloyd on its Middle East, India and Africa Express service was ordered to remain anchored in Durban after 2 crew members tested positive to the virus in late May. During the 2-week quarantine, the ship was banned from offloading cargo. A 3rd crew member of the ship tested positive for coronavirus in South Africa earlier this month, resulting in further extension of the ship's quarantine period. Fire erupted on cargo deck of ferry cruise Bonaria on her arrival at Olbia, Sardinia, from Livorno in the evening of June 18, 2020. Refrigerator truck is thought to have gone on fire due to a shortcut. Thick black smoke billowed from cargo deck area to upper decks and high in the air. The ship continued her approach. Firefighting and CG emergence teams boarded ferry and took part in the firefighting together with crew. Fire was extinguished. Ferry with some 150 passengers was safely berthed at around 18:30 UTC on June 18, 2020. No injuries was reported as of morning June 19, 2020. Cruise Bonaria remained berthed at Olbia. No news on damages. Probably there is none. Container ship MSC Fabienne ran aground at around 13:15 UTC on June 19, 2020 in St. Lawrence River below Montreal shortly after leaving Montreal bound for Italy. Reportedly, traffic is obstructed, though not officially closed. Engine failure said to be the cause of the grounding. As of 4:15 UTC June 20, the ship was still aground with 2 tugs at her side. Cargo fell on ship's deck, killing 1 docker and seriously injuring another, Yokohama. Cargo lifting by ship's cargo gear fell down on cargo deck of general cargo ship Timu, hitting 2 Japanese port workers at around midday local time on June 19, 2020 at Yokohama Port, Japan. 1 docker died. Another one was hospitalized with serious injuries. The ship arrived from Kashima, Japan, and understood to remain in port until completion of investigations. It's now time to bring you the schedules of the vessels that are seated at the anchorage, those that are already in the port, those expected to come in this week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate you need to know to clear your goods out of the port. As we always urge you, if you're doing business with the ports and you have any challenge, kindly reach out to us and we will endeavor share your concerns with the agencies that matter as well as the world. The numbers and the contacts are on the screens. You can always reach us if you have issues doing business around the port industry there. Thank you very much for watching this program, and also thanks a lot to the entire team who make the program possible all the time. Now, particularly this week, the man who has been the producer general and ensuring that almost everything is done, he's himself the cameraman and all of that, is Joe Apia. We call him Joe Bone. Also my man Frank Gomelesio, the technical producer. He has a new fresh baby girl. He's a new father in town, so we're hoping that we'll see the young lady pretty shortly. And we say congratulations to you, Frank, and thank you for being there for the program. The executive producers of this program, Nana Isi Sudobeg and Mrs. Esther J.B. Donko. Thank you, and see you same time next week.